Hey y'all, I'm Melissa at Twin Oaks Family Farm, and I just wanted to tell you thank you for supporting our channel. Before we start this video, I want to also remind you, wherever you are, seek out local farmers in your area and try to connect with them for sourcing your food directly from the people who produce it. We always want to be encouraging people to heart local ag. In other words, support your local farmers in your area. Farmers produce wholesome food, and when you know where it comes from, you're even more confident about the food that you're consuming. So I want to take this opportunity to remind you, heart local ag wherever local is for you. Thanks for joining us for this video after the flock, April 24th, 2025. God bless y'all. Hey y'all, Melissa here at Twin Oaks Family Farm in Southeast Ohio, USA. It is April 24th, 2025. Thank you so much for supporting our channel. If y'all been following our channel, you know that we just recently finished our first flock of Cornish Rock Cross meat chickens for the calendar year for 2025. We have, I think, 1,300 meat chickens scheduled for poultry production for this year. We'll actually move the second group in about a week. We have 400 birds scheduled to move in on April 30th. So we will be getting ready for them. We're going to have to be reconfiguring the barn layout to get their brooder set up. We're going to be getting their feed moved in here into storage. All that is ordered like January for the whole year. We order our feed and our chicks and set up our processing dates, and actually kind of start with the end in mind. We set up the processing dates first, then count back and set the hatch dates, then figure out quantities of the chicks with the hatch dates, and then figure out quantity of feed by the ton that we need and what dates we need them throughout the year. So we are going to be getting ready for them, but this is just checking in with y'all and hanging out with y'all and telling you thank you for supporting the channel, and we greatly appreciate it. Today, we have off-farm jobs, my whole family. There's 5 of us in the household. We have off-farm jobs. I do have work today, but right now, just getting some things checked off the to-do list, feeling the relief of not having 300 birds in the barn, and gonna go take the Camaro through the car wash the Traverse earlier today, and you know, going to the car wash and putting the quarters in the slot and hosing it off isn't like as good as taking it to your detail guy, but it looks a lot better than it did. And incidentally, on the meat chicken flock we just finished, I wanted to tell y'all we had 300 birds in that flock. Basically, to start with, we don't have this happen very often. We had 2 subgroups, so 300 birds total, but part of them one age and part of them a different age. There was a week age difference in the 2 subgroups. So of the 300, part of them had a really challenging first week with growing conditions, particularly with the temperature conditions. And ambient temperature is paramount importance in raising meat chickens for poultry. So when the ambient temperature is a challenge for them, then it's a struggle to finish that flock successfully. So as the flock grew and got into finishing, we were realistically looking at the flock loss, and we were realistically estimating and hoping that we would take 250 of those birds to the processor out of the 300 we started with. So wanted to tell y'all we got 248 of them to the processor. So we're really close to that 250 mark. That's not a good success rate on a meat bird flock, but under the conditions, it could have been a whole lot worse. So we take it. But we got 248 to the processor, and when you add in, we have two local high schools, just probably like, they're just across the river from each other, literally. So just a couple miles apart, but one of those FFA chapters actually got a hold of us and requested if they could buy a couple of meat birds from us for some educational demonstrations they were doing in their chapter. So we didn't want them to have to buy the birds. We donated 2 birds to one of the local FFA chapters to finish meat birds from that flock to them for their educational program. But when I add in those two, we would have had 250 successfully finished to go to the processor. But we were satisfied with donating 2 to them and taking 248 to the processor. So on that note, before we hop in the Camaro and go get the car wash done, let's step out to the meat bird barn and I'll show you where we ended up with that. Hold on, y'all. Okay, y'all, so random question as we're heading out here to the building. If you lucked into $20,000 today, just lucked into it, first thing, top of your mind, what would you do with it? Here later in the show, I'll tell you what I would do if I lucked into $20,000 today. So heading out to the building where the meat birds are raised. Building is virtually empty now, but we're gonna take a peek inside. Here is a truck project going on. This is a 99 Dodge that is my husband and I's. It's been my husband's daily driver. We just acquired a 98, just almost like this one, but a few specific configuration differences. But the 98 is what he's using as his daily driver now. And I say we just acquired it, but it's changed hands within the family over the last about 18 months, but it's going to now be Jared's daily driver. But that's why the bumper is missing off of this. This 99 is basically going to end up being like a donor truck to the 98 for the most part. And the 98 is a truck that we've used to haul meat chickens to the processor, and that's part of the reason we took on the 98 now as well, to be able to use it for hauling chickens during this calendar year. And Jared's been wanting to take the 99 off of the road. So incidentally, on the 98, we used it yesterday when we hauled the meat chickens to the processor. And I think while we had it on the road yesterday, it rolled up 375,000 miles on it during that trip. So these trucks, man, they'll just run and run and run. This one is a 24 valve Cummins, but the 98 that we are using this year, it is a 12 valve Cummins. So anyway, always a truck project here. Always a truck project here. So let's go take a look in the barn. Okay, so quick view, you can see looks a lot different than it did when we had the meat birds in it. And while we did have way more flock loss during our first flock of 2025 than we would ever wish, we also had some birds that we decided were healthy and thriving and strong, but not ready to go to the processor, not finished. These were just way smaller than the target size that we look for with visual observation. And we have another flock, as I mentioned previously, starting here in just a week. So we're going to keep these 4 birds. Actually, happen to be 4 hens, 2 there and 2 here. So we're going to keep those 4 birds for sure, give them time to finish growing, and we think that we will be okay going ahead and planning to take them with our next flock that will start on April 30th. And I believe we'll be in production for about 6 weeks before it goes to the processor. So right at this moment, these birds have access round the clock to food and water, and we're just going to let them grow. Now we do also have a 5th one, a rooster left here, comparable in size to these hens. At this point, he looks strong, but he isn't as active as these hens. So we're debating with him, is he thriving or is he experiencing some chronic heart distress? So we're kind of still in the observation phase on that. We certainly don't want to dispatch a bird that is thriving and strong. So we're kind of observing, waiting and see how he does. But his feathering looks good, and he's got mobility, and he is active. He's just not as active as these hens are. So we could have these 5 additions to the next group that we take to the processor, but they're just not big enough for processing into poultry. So we opted just not to take them, and we're not going to dispatch them simply because they just didn't grow as fast as the rest of them. So we'll see how that goes. But we will be getting this building ready. So going to throw in a little random thing here. Movie of the week. We as a family enjoy watching movies. We don't have TV service, and we, even modern times here, we don't utilize streaming services, anything of that nature, and we haven't had cable service for about 16 years. It's been 16 years at least since we checked out of traditional cable service. We had a small dish around here in our part of the USA. Dish Network was the company. I think it's still operating. People still have that service, but we haven't had that service. But even then, we liked movies, so we kept a television set and a DVD player. But this week, we're watching a classic. Sometimes we get just little snatches of like 20 minutes at a time in the kind of late night after family devotions. Once we're all home and get to do family devotions together, we might watch a little bit of TV. But we borrowed a classic movie from our local library, Driving Miss Daisy, with Jessica Tandy, Morgan Freeman. So our sons are 17 to 21, and my husband and I had seen Driving Miss Daisy before. I'm sure my husband had, but long enough ago that we don't remember it really well. I don't know that our sons had ever seen it. So we've been enjoying watching installments of Driving Miss Daisy in the evenings. So movie of the week here at Twin Oaks Family Farm, Driving Miss Daisy. Tell us in the comments some of your favorite all-time movies. We are going to get ready to roll here. So going to take the 95 Camaro and go to the car wash. Okay, you want to get this party started, car wash party started. This is old school. I mean, you gotta actually use a key and put it in the ignition. They don't make cars like that anymore, y'all. There we go. All right, so it's about 80 degrees outside for us here in Southeast Ohio on April 24th, 2025. So, okay, got my quarters, $4 or $5 worth of quarters. Y'all remember the drop the quarter in the car wash kind of thing? So, let's go. And then I'm gonna put the phone away, because that is a serious thing. That is a serious thing. When you're in your vehicle, honestly, out of sight, out of mind is the best arrangement with the telephone, with the cell phone. It's not even a telephone anymore, is it? So let's head out the driveway here. There's the Twin Oaks, the Twin Oaks Family Farm. There's the Twin Oaks. Halfway up our driveway here. It's actually a neighbor's field. So there's our Twin Oaks that our family farm and YouTube channel is named for. So, all right, see you at the car wash. Okay, we're here, so going to get this done. Gotta get this done because I actually have a customer picking up eggs back at the farm here in just about 20 minutes. So get out, give you the before, and I'll get it washed, and then we'll give you the after. So it's a fun car to drive. Even though it is not a V8, it's actually just about the same engine, but older, that is in the Traverse that I drive. I think it's a 3.4 V6 in the 95 base Camaros. So, all right, let's get with it. I think it's fun to drive, but the family doesn't like getting in and out of it. So, here we go. It's nothing like a clean car. So, if it's warm and dry and nice where y'all are, get out there and get your cars washed. All right. Feed the machine. Okay, and after. Looks good. Okay, it does look better. Only thing better than a clean outside of the car is a clean inside of the car. And this one's pretty clean, but it does need dusted off. Maybe get to that this weekend. So it is a windows down kind of day, friends. There we go. Okay, get some marker lights turned on here. Radio adjusted. Hey, radio adjusted. That makes me think of Song of the day. Song of the day. Let us know in comments, what's your favorite song? What's your favorite vibes right now? What are you listening to in music? But Kenny Chesney, Don't Blink. That's the song of the day right here. So let me get, there we go. All right. Well, we'll see you back at the house. Not perfect, but it looks better than it did. Let's go sit on the porch a few minutes. Shoot, we couldn't have timed that any better. Our egg client pickup drove in the driveway right ahead of me. Actually, I followed her in the driveway. Perfect timing. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what I mentioned earlier. Question of the day. If you lucked into $20,000, no strings attached, $20,000 even, first thing comes in your mind, top of your mind, what would you do? I would want to do 2 small projects and give the rest to my husband. So the 2 small projects I would do, that Camaro, we just got it probably about 4 or 5 weeks ago. The headliner was starting to come down in it, and the passenger side window, the tent is starting to peel off of it at the back corner, bottom back corner. So you can't roll the window down, because when you roll the window down, that grabs and it'll start peeling that up more. So I'd do those 2 projects, get that headliner done, get the tent done right away, and then the rest of it I would give it to my husband and tell him, get vehicles straightened out for your daily driver the way you want it. Because I tell you, that man, he has always, well, he's sacrificed and worked for this family his entire adult life, and he's always made sure the household had serviceable vehicles to meet its needs and to get around, and vehicles that were pleasant to drive. So whether the need was a family vehicle for all 5 of us to fit in, or whether the need was a truck for me to drive, a truck for him to drive, he always made sure we had what we need, but he always put everybody else's needs ahead of his own. And so even now, with he's taking on the 98 truck and using his 99 truck for donor parts for the 98, you know, that's going to work, but it's not really what he wants. So he would be able to do what he wanted for the $18,000-$20,000 range, and if I had it to give him, that's what I would want to do with it. So let us know in comments, what would you do with a random $20,000 that you lucked into? Before we wrap it up, I also want to encourage y'all to read. Reading isn't everybody's favorite pastime. A lot of people don't like reading, don't enjoy it. So if it's not something that you enjoy, maybe just a few minutes a day even. But if it's something you do enjoy, take time to do it. Take time to do it, because reading, especially as just a hobby, is something we do for enjoyment, is very often something that gets totally pushed off the schedule. So book of the week, what I'm reading right now, I love his history, American history in particular, Civil War era. I like historical fiction as well, but I'll read nonfiction, especially about the Civil War era. Gettysburg, The Tide Turns, an Oral History by Bruce Chadwick. So it's about the Gettysburg battle during the war between the states in the Civil War. So anyway, that's what I'm reading now. Sourced it by borrowing it from my local library. That's another thing here in the United States of America. I would encourage y'all, please support your local libraries. There's so much more there than only books, and a lot of time there's a lot of activities and programs for all ages. And in fact, even different times here in our channel, on the comment threads in the channel community, it's come up about learning these skills of raising food, producing food, preserving food. And many times I've shared with people, I've been to programs at our local libraries about preserving food, about meal planning, about household organization. So all kinds of programs at your library. So check it out. Check out your local library. But hey, thanks for hanging out with me. We appreciate it. And the channel's growing, and we just appreciate all y'all helping it grow. So thanks so much. Have a great weekend coming up, and keep checking in with us. We got the chickens going on. We got the egg chickens. We're going to have more meat chickens. We're going to be doing the gardening. I'm hoping I asked Jared last week, when can I get on your schedule? We've got seed potatoes and we've got onion sets. We want to get them planted. I don't know if y'all saw the hanging baskets on the porch walking up. We got those off of the other local FFA chapter supporting their sale. I've got a couple window boxes on my porch. I'm thinking I want to put some pansies in there. So want to get going on some of these landscape things here around the house, and especially on growing food. Let us know what you got going on this coming weekend. We'll check back in here again at Twin Oaks Family Farm. God bless y'all.